On your whiteboard, what is the name of the gentleman who's the first one to study personality? Who is it, Madison? Freud. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Freud believes your personality is shaped by what three components? Freud believes your personality is shaped by what three components? Good. What? Come on. No, personality. What are they, James?
Ego and superego.
There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me what part of the Freud's personality theory is controlled by reality principle? Good. What is it, Mary Kate? There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one is based on pleasure principle. Good. Eva, what is it? Good. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital are called what? All of those 5 things are called what when you put them all together? Good. What are they? Valeria? Psychosexual stages. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the largest part of our consciousness according to Freud? Good. Your effort's off the charts, Skylar. What is it, Skylar? Unconsciousness. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is controlled, what is being literally pulled between the other 2 components of personality, which goes between the other 2 components. Good. What is it, Sophia? Ego. On your whiteboard, please tell me, if I'm 7 years old, what stage of the psychosexual stages am I trapped in? If I'm 7 years old, where am I stuck, Nick? Latency. On your whiteboard, please tell me, if I am suffering from Oedipus complex, what stage am I in? Good. What stage am I in, Hannah? Phallic. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what stage are you in according to Freud and his psychosexual stages? Good. What is it? Chris. On your whiteboard, give me the 5 psychosexual stages in order, please. You do need to know them in order for a test on Thursday. Good. Where are they, Matt?
Oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital.
There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, who is the founder of psychoanalytic? Who is the founder of psychoanalytic? Good. Who is it? Bella. Freud. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the perspective that uses Freud as its foundation but includes other people? What perspective uses... Good, I got one. Not throwing up some heat, throwing it up so fast. Matt, what is it? Psychodynamics is the perspective. What are the names of the people who reject Freud? I know, that's why I asked the question. Who are the people who reject all of Freud's ideas but do keep some of Freud's? Madison, who looks so lovely in light blue. Neo-Freudians. All right. Where did we leave off yesterday? Neo-Freudians?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So when we talk about Neo-Freudians, it is important that you grasp the concept that Freud has a couple things really going for him. First of all, I think all of us would agree that his theory on, if we look back to his theories, so his consciousness theory, I think we can all agree this is his first real big theory. It makes a lot of sense. You could easily kind of defend that, correct? Rationally, it makes sense. We can't prove it. That's why the theory makes a lot of sense. His personality theory, id, ego, superego, it makes sense. Do we agree with maybe every single component of it? No. Does it have as much pull as we think? Maybe not. But do we understand its foundation? Yes. The psychosexual stages. Now, I think we can all agree it got a little weird. It got a little weird yesterday. However, at the end of the day, okay, we can all kind of agree that some of that stuff made a good amount of sense, don't you think? As you get older, and I will say when I look back, I kind of see where some of it's happening. I don't agree with it, so don't be like, oh my god, Miss Bennett, that's complex. No. However, I do see where some of that could have laid an impact on me, on people I knew growing up, and all of that stuff. Do I buy the whole thing? No. But I see. Remember, in Freud's fame, that is his high point is the psychosexual stages, and then he plummets off the cliff when he goes completely sex-obsessed. This is where the Neo-Freudians divide the line. They believe in his consciousness, they believe in his personality, and they believe in the psychosexual stages. If you're a Neo-Freudian, you follow the psychodynamic, that is where you end with Freud, and you allow other people to build. Okay? Now here in AP Psych, I only have to teach those 3 theories and not the 7, which is good, because his 6th and 7th one would really make me blush. And you thought psychosexual stages were awkward. Oh my god. These other ones are wild. Okay? So, after the psychosexual stages, he starts going off on tangents, and that's where the Neo-Freudians cut themselves off. Now, Freud starts this whole movement, Neo-Freudians say, and we're done with you. It's important you understand he's the foundation, they build off. Now, people, including his own daughter, break away from him. His own daughter is considered a Neo-Freudian. She says, and we're done, Papa, you're getting too weird and a little freaky. So she breaks off. She went to the University of, capital of Austria, Vienna, thank you very much. She went to the University of Vienna and is a highly respected psychologist on her own right. She did not go to her father's funeral, and she did not speak to him for about 30-something years, okay? However, Freud said the hardest person it was to lose is a guy named Carl Jung. Carl Jung is your first Neo-Freudian. He's the first one to break away. Freud and Jung went to college together. They met in their undergrad, and they went through universities together. They separated. Carl Jung went to France for a while. Freud stayed in Austria, and they would write letters back and forth to each other about different theories that they were thinking of, like 6 to 8 page letters, like weekly. They were completely obsessed with each other, and Freud's theories were shaped very heavily by Carl Jung. One of my favorite theories is that they're in love with each other. I love it. It's so romantic. Freud was completely heartbroken when Carl Jung wrote, I cannot follow you in this. I have to depart. I have to separate. Miss Bennett? Yes, thank you very much. So Carl Jung says, I cannot follow you, Freud, in this. We have to go our separate ways. And it breaks Freud down. It just breaks his little soul because they've been besties for 30 years and they depend on each other for all of this. And Freud goes off into this crazy maniacal rage for quite some time, and he never really recovers. He's going to die drunk and alone and poor when he was one of the wealthier, most well-known people in the world. And Carl Jung is going to kind of live his life, and he's going to do some things by himself. Carl Jung and Freud were better together. Isn't it make it better if they're lovers? They were just thrown apart, separated by Freud's obsession with sex. That's so sad. They were besties, though. There's no denying that. In my head, they have a love affair. Because he was so heartbroken. He really never recovered. And Carl Jung lived a sad little life after. He said his greatest friend and his only true equal was Freud. Still could have been. No, there's a lot of bad blood. Do you think Sigmund Freud just kind of loses his mind or just goes off the handle? Off the handle, honey. He's completely obsessed. So, Sigmund Freud has literally had all of his friends turn their back on him, and he, dies in this really ugly, terrible place. But Carl Jung does continue. Now, Carl Jung develops a theory of the collective unconscious. He believes your unconscious is based on two things. First of all, is a personal unconscious. This is directly the same thing as Freud. Remember, all of your Neo-Freudians are based on Freud, and then they just do a little something different with it. He believes everyone has a personal unconscious, which means all of your experiences, all of your thoughts, all of the things you've seen, heard, felt, are in your unconscious that are sitting there. And then sometimes you just have weird things come to the front, and then you remember them, yes? Have you ever had a song got in your head that you've never, heard of?
Yes.
On, a conscious level, and you're like, where did this thing come from? Or get a song in your head you haven't heard of for years, and there it is, okay? Well, the thing that makes Carl Jung special is his belief in the collective unconscious. Collective unconscious, according to Carl Jung, is that we all share an unconscious. That all of our ancestors have left us our memories in our unconscious, and we all have it. He uses the example. So say, for instance, we had a guy pull up right outside our classroom right now in a beat-up van with the sign that says free candy and puppies. Would you think that's a little sketchy, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
Why? Because it says free candy and puppies? That makes a lot of sense. Okay? Carl Jung would say that lurch in your stomach, you know how when you get that, that feeling like, oh my God, it's something weird here? Carl Jung says that actual lurch is your collective unconscious saying, hey, my ancestors dealt with something like this. They saw a van that had free candy, free puppies, and it didn't go well for them, and now I have that memory in my brain, and they're like, oh my God, don't do what I did. When people have a fear of heights, it's because of your collective unconscious, that our ancestors are saying, oh my God, stay away from a cliff, you can't live if you jump off a cliff, and those types of things. So he believes that our collective unconscious is inherited. What are your thoughts on this?
Is that like deja vu?
Kind of, yeah. He says deja vu is one big component. And he also does this whole thing called archetypes. Now, archetypes are what you talk about in English class, how you always have an evil character, correct? And they're always kind of have some sort of deformity, so they're easily recognizable. Hello?
Yes.
And that your hero is going to come through some sort of struggle and then shine in the brightness and bask in all of its glory and stuff like that. You have certain identifying factors that make people evil, that make people heroes and all that stuff. Carl Jung says that's our collective unconscious. Because we all share similar memories. We all have the same ideas of what makes a hero and what makes a bad guy.
This sounds crazier
It
than
whole
sounds
idea.
like a child. It's like, yeah, that's like you're in a world and everyone's connected and all
Not sexual. There's a lot less sex in this one, I will say. Yes.
So, none of this, any of this can be proved scientifically. Freud
Well, yeah.
Freud's theories.
Absolutely. The only thing we can prove of Freud is defense mechanisms, and there's one other thing. It's coming up here in a few minutes.
So, none of
But it's all about how you think about it and stuff like that. So, Freud, I don't think there's never going to be a day when anyone's like, oh my God, Freud's totally correct in his psychosexual stages. You know what I mean? No one's ever going to. But it's a way to think about the world in a different situation that makes you think about different things in a different way that could give you more insight. Everything is theory because it allows you to see the world a little bit differently. That gives you a little more insight into who you are. When I bring up these theories, what do you think? Do you like? Do you not like? Stuff like that. You're immediately thinking about your life. Would you agree? And then hopefully at some point in this class, you've kind of thought about your life a little bit differently. Yes? What is the motives behind your behavior? Are you, motivated because, of this or that and stuff like that? It just allows us to think of things in a different situation so we can garner more understanding. And the more understanding we have, hopefully we come across a way we can actually test it. And that's what psychology is about. Is that not necessarily everything is mathematically tested because we can't, because we don't know everything, but hopefully with more exploration of things, we can kind of start finding a way to test things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sort of. And the archetype type things, uses archetypes as justification of why the collective unconscious is real. So that makes sense, like Superman and Hercules are like the same person.
Yep.
For like 3,000 years.
Exactly. But did one inherit the other? You know? Exactly. So it's like all those different types of things. All right. Your next one is Adler. I like Adler. I showed you a bunch because I'm going to go get water. I like Adler. Adler's theory, he believes in birth order. He believes that our personality is not shaped by our ego, superego. He thinks our personality is shaped by the attention we receive from our family members, which I think is really interesting. Raise your hand if you are a kid of multiple. So if you have brothers and sisters. Okay, perfect. Raise your hand if you're one of three. Oh, perfect. All right, here we go. All right, according to Adler, he believes that that your parents, when the oldest child was born, that oldest child had the sole focus of both your parents. So that little kid, your brother, sister, you, whoever, came into the world, and both of your parents, that was their sole focus, correct? Okay? So, because of their sole focus, they felt loved, they was given plenty of attention, and that will lead to stronger self-esteem, stronger willpower, and a drive to be successful because they had your parents' full attention for at least a year of their lives, correct? That self-esteem will carry them on. Then he believes that the second kid came into the world and they were immediately not given the same amount of attention. That kid, from the moment they arrived, was constantly competing in order to get attention. And that kid is going to develop attention-seeking behavior or is going to become hostile and aggressive in order to have it. That this person, that number 2, is going to be constantly pushing in order to get more attention. Then he said, if the third child will be the last child. And with the third child, they're seen as the baby. And that they are essentially coddled and taken care of and seen as delicate and impressionable and need to be protected. And because of that, their personality will be shaped into one that they do things on their schedule. They do things that they are motivated by and not doing anything because other people tell them to do. They are on solely their own plan because their parents have given them time to figure out who they are out of their protection. Does that sound like your house? That your firstborn is like the spearhead shot out of the cannon, doing whatever they need to do, and they have the undying support of their parents. Number 2 is like, oh my God, constantly trying to get some attention, has a complete issue with feeling unwanted and needs to constantly push hostility. And then the third one is a complete useless, does whatever the hell they want. Everyone celebrates every time they do something. That's exactly how it is in my house.
One and 3 makes sense. I'm more of 4. So the first one and the last one.
There you go. I'm a middle child. It makes a lot of sense in my hostility. And so I really like Adler. I think the amount of attention we get from our parents dictate our personalities, not our id, our ego, and our superego. What do you think? Do you like this one?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
I don't know.
The one I didn't like that much.
Like, it's not the same for every family. It's not.
But is the oldest child more independent? No?
It's very like
Interesting. Interesting.
Jack is different. He doesn't have
But
They treat my dog as a third child, but she gets more care than anyone in the entire family. Seriously.
well, that's good. It's a puppy. You need love.
She's a queen in our house. I get told to get off the couch for both of us to sit on the couch.
I mean, my Toby really loves sitting on the couch. I mean, he gets pretty passionate about it. All right. So your next one is horny or horny. I don't even know. And that is too exhausted to even try. So I'm done. Okay. So I like her. First of all, she was one of the first 10 women to get her master's from Harvard. So she's kind of a boss. Okay. She's used to being in a room full of men and being the only woman there. And she does not give a flip about anything. She does whatever the hell she wants, so you have to respect that. Anyway, she believes that the moment we are born anxious. Because we are the smallest, the newest creature on the earth, and we feel that pressure. Because of that, our personalities are shaped by it. What that means is we need to change how we see it. So, some of us thrive under pressure, under anxiety. Some of us completely bend to it. Some of us are barely surviving the balance, correct? Some days are better, easier to handle it. Some days are not. And she believes that it's anxiety itself that dictates our feelings that we felt since the moment we arrived. Now, one of the things I really like about her theory is that she says it's our maladaptive ways of dealing with the stress are going to create neurotic personalities. So, if you are someone who does not deal well with stress, like you shut down, do all of you know someone who shuts down when they have stress? Okay, she would say that you're a neurotic personality, which is a Freudian term, by the way, and that the stress of just being on Earth has created your personality, not your ego, your super ego, not your parents' attention or anything like that. It's just how your body deals with stress. What do you think? Do we like? It's okay. I don't think it answers a lot of questions. I think it asks more questions than it answers. However, the cool thing about her is she comes up with this thing called penis envy. And she starts talking about penis envy in the 1940s. All right, now she believes that the hostility between men and women is actually fostered by women because women see penises as power, not as anything else, and that women are jealous of men's ability to have a penis. They're born with it, and it gives them power and control over society. Okay? I think we can all agree the world's very male-dominated and male-powered. Can we agree? Patriarchy is real, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're all in agreement there. Perfect. Okay? That horny comes in and says, it's not that women hate men. It's women hate the fact that just because men are born with a penis puts them at a lower level because they don't have it. She says the conflict here is penis envy, of the fact that women have to earn power while men are granted power with their birth. Interesting, correct? The other thing she comes up with, which I really don't buy at all because I don't want this ability. She says the hostility on men for women is not because women challenge their authority. It's because men are jealous that women can create babies and birth and create life, and that some men get jealous of that, and that's why they have such angry aggression. And she calls it womb envy. That men are jealous that they don't have an intimate connection to their offspring and to their children, which is why some men lash out against women and are hateful towards women because they feel like they don't have the opportunity to have that. Thoughts?
I think it makes sense that they want that, more, intimacy with their child, but I don't think they want the actual birthing part of it.
It doesn't, but that would mean everyone always wants babies and everyone cares about the babies. That's not true. It's not necessarily true. A lot of these, I see the point, but a lot of these, they don't cover much ground.
And that's why there's so many of them in so different ways. But I think it's an interesting thing to think about. And kind of changes a little bit maybe how you see a certain thing or something. And as you get older, you'll be like, oh my God, is that penis envy? Just kidding. All right, so there's your, I do like the idea of basic anxiety, though. Can we agree to that? I mean, that's kind of cool. That we come into this world stressed, and this stress is going to shape our personalities. Because I think we can all agree, if we look at just straight up basic materialistic, people who deal with stress better have more money. Can we agree? People who aren't good in stressful situations have less money because they spend it or they can't maintain their jobs, stuff like that. This is kind of an interesting argument. All right, Erickson. You do know Erik Erikson. What is Erickson's thing called? Skylar?
8 stages of development.
Yes, and what is one of the stages? Don't do this to me. You gotta know it.
I know it.
Eric Erickson, trust versus mistrust.
Um,
Identity versus isolation. All of those, that's Eric Erickson. I covered it during development because there's a lot more reinforcement for this in development. Does that make sense? When we've read Eric Erickson's development, identity versus isolation, all that stuff, it makes a lot of sense. Would you agree? And that's why he's typically taught there as well. He is probably the most popular of the Neo-Freudians. I think his theories make a lot of sense. And he believes that the society has a deeper impact than anything else. That if you lived in a place that has a lot of trust, a lot of caring people who look out for you, then you'll grow up differently than if you come from a place of no trust and stuff like that. Everyone good? Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Now I have the hiccups. Things have gotten worse. Alright, so current research, unconscious mind. We do know that the unconscious mind does affect the conscious mind. Macy, you said, I told you that there was 2 things we could prove by science of psychoanalytic defense mechanisms is a real thing, and we do know that the unconscious mind affects the conscious mind. So there you go. That was my second one I couldn't come up with. Just wanted to let you know, following through here. Huh? Because we look at people when we make first impressions and we can say, oh, we don't like them. Well, why don't you like them? Because in our mind, we've unconsciously decided they remind us of something or someone and stuff like that, and that affects our opinions. Yeah.
So behaviorism is more based in science completely, right? Because it's all
It's all based on behavior, measurable, which is what you're going to like real right now. All right, so behaviorists. So we are done with Freud. We are done with psychoanalytic. We are done with psychodynamic. Are we excited? Did we like him? He's interesting. A little bit, yeah, he definitely has like the creepy uncle component to him. And you're forced to be around him and you gotta know him, but it's kind of weird. Alright, so behaviors define personality as a set of learned responses or behaviors. Actually, no, let's do boards. I'm ready for boards. Whoa, sassy pants. Whoa. On your whiteboard, please tell me what perspective supports only Freud. I got what? No. Yes. Sorry. Good. What is it? No, what is it, Matt? Psychoanalytic. On your whiteboard, what are the names of the people who believe with some of Freud's thoughts, but then have gone on to include other people in their theories? Matt, what are they? Psychodynamic. What do we call those individual people, Smith?
Neo-Freudians.
Neo-Freudians. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one believes in basic anxiety that we come out of our womb stressed. Am I ever going to feel healthy again? What is it? Skylar. There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me which one believes in birth order. He's my favorite of the Neo-Freudians. I like him because that's exactly who my family is. Who is it, Annie? Adler. On your whiteboard, who is the original Neo-Freudian? He's the one who's going to break Freud's heart. Who is it, Mia?
John.
Jung. Carl Jung. On your whiteboard, what is the theory of Jung's that believes that all of our unconsciouses are connected? What do we call that? That our ancestors have given us memories. Sophia. Collective unconscious. On your whiteboard, please tell me which of the Neo-Freudians do you like the best? Yeah, you can do him. I don't really think of him as a Neo-Freudian. You like the collective unconscious?
They're all weird.
Alright, I see most of you are going Adler. I like him too. You just pick one?
The superhero things are I just like how Eric's covered.
Alright, that's true. I mean, he is much more. Alright, on your whiteboard, give me one habit you have that you have to do every single day. I personally clean off the toothpaste cover because I hate it when it's goopy. You know what I mean? Like if you squeeze too much toothpaste and it gets stuck in there. What is one thing? Let's not. Thanks. Give me one habit you do every single day. It's a basic thing that you have to do every single day. McCray has to make sure all of his shoes are lined up every single day. There we go. Come on, come on. What is something that you have to do every single day? All right, turn to the person near you and share your habit. Go. Window check.
Like, if I like make sure my windows is like whatever, but like as soon as I get home, then I put it on. I just it's something that I always do. That I have to do it, and I'm mad because I can't do it.
2, 1. All right. So in behaviorism, a habit is a set of well-learned responses that have become automatic. We do something every single day, whether we're paying full attention or not. Every single day, I clean my toothpaste because it just drives me insane if I don't. I just started doing it. I had a couple people say they have to have their makeup left in a certain way every time they leave. They have to put it back in the same spot. Like I said, my husband has to make sure all of his shoes are always in the same spot. Those different types of things are called habits. We do them really without thinking. Okay? Now, social cognitive learning theory believes that other people's behavior and your own expectancies on learning affect how you interact. What that means is how you think people will respond to you and how you think you should respond affect all of your decisions. Think about it. I mean, the outfit you wore today, is it something you agreed with? Yes. And it's something that you know you're not going to get made fun of for today, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, me and Madison are like on point today, by the way, in case you didn't notice, we're wearing the same thing. Okay? So, we woke up this morning and said, oh my God, we need something comfortable, but we don't want to look homeless in a sweatshirt, right, Madison?
Yeah.
Yes. There you go. We'll start there tomorrow. Have a good day, guys. Your